Welcome. I'm so delighted to have you all here. My name is Cheryl Lovato-Niles, and I am the Water Resources Educator for WSU Extension in Whatcom County. And we are a proud member of the Whatcom Watersheds Information Network. And WIN's mission is to protect and restore our local waters and watersheds through information exchange, education, public involvement, and collaboration. We invite you to sign up for our newsletter. It comes out about once a month, and it includes information about events such as this, as well as new research findings and other news, and regional events, training and funding opportunities, lots of great stuff. And we never try to sell you anything. We will never share your email address, and we will not ask you for money. You can sign up for the newsletter by looking on our updated website at whatcomwin.org. That's Whatcom, WIN.org. And then there's a sign up button, a subscribe button at the bottom, I think, of each page on that. So I'm going to introduce Aneka and get us started in just a moment. If you have questions that you would like to ask her, you can feel free to enter those into the chat at any time during the presentation. She's going to take those questions at the end, but go ahead and put them into the chat when they occur to you. And then you can access the chat by hovering your mouse at the bottom of the Zoom screen, and then the controls will come up and you should see a chat button there. If you'd like to ask your question in person, you are also welcome to do that. And the way we would do that is you would just please raise your hand by hovering your mouse again at the bottom of the Zoom screen. And then you click on the reactions button and then the raise hand button there. And then I can invite you to ask your question and I can help you unmute if need be. Please do keep your audio on mute during the presentation so we don't pick up dogs barking and other background noise in the recording. That would be helpful. But if you are feeling generous, you could share your screen. That can be often a lot juicier for a presenter than just sort of speaking into the void. And then I want to let you know that we'll be posting a link to a short feedback survey in the chat at the end of the presentation, and we would really appreciate hearing from you. So today we are very pleased to be able to hear about salmon restoration programs with benefits for landowners and other resources offered by the Whatcom Conservation District and partner organizations from Aneka Sweeney. Aneka is the Education and Outreach Coordinator for the Whatcom Conservation District. She joined the district in 2014 to strengthen community outreach and sustainable education programs. Aneka works to enhance the impact of district programs by working directly with community groups, school districts, state, county, and city governments, as well as nonprofit organizations to further the mission of the Whatcom Conservation District. A native of Western Colorado, Aneka earned a Bachelor's of Science in Biology with a minor in Environmental Restoration from Colorado Mesa University in 2001. She then spent 8 years as a biological science technician for the USDA Forest Service in the Sierra Nevada of California. She moved to Bellingham in 2008 to pursue a master's in education in environmental studies through Western Washington University. And after earning her degree in 2010, Aneka established and coordinated a youth environmental leadership program for North Cascades Institute, training the next generation of conservation stewards before she began with the district. And with that, I will turn it over to Aneka Sweeney.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for the introduction. And I'm just going to share my screen and dive in. So let me know when you see something. Okay.
We can see it.
Awesome.
It looks great.
That's even better. Well, thank you again, Cheryl and Wynn, for hosting me today. I'm Aneka Sweeney. Like she said, I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Education Outreach Coordinator for Whatcom Conservation District, and very proud to be here. Today, sort of the flow will be, I'm going to be introducing the district and then narrowing the focus of my talk on our current opportunities for salmon habitat restoration for local landowners through a variety of programs through Whatcom Conservation District and others. During my talk, I have a colleague online from Whatcom CD that will be putting in links that could be helpful for you to dive into more information in the chat. So if you see something coming up on the chat, feel free to click on that, and we'll go on from there. And then that chat record can be sent to you if you're interested. So that's a way to dive in for a little bit more detail. The hope is that all of you will hear something that we do that you didn't know before, potentially, that piques your interest, and I hope that you'll be able to share something that you gleaned today with somebody that you know. I think my presentation is probably about 30 or 40 minutes. And then at the end, I'll entertain questions because I think that'll just keep it clearer. Okay, so Whatcom Conservation District. Since 1946, we've worked with landowners, especially in the agricultural community, to manage natural resources in Whatcom County. We are a non-regulatory agency. We administer cost share programs and provide technical, financial, and educational assistance to help people protect their land and their resources. First and foremost, the land that appears here, the land I'm on today, and the land that many of you are on, we'd like to respectfully acknowledge that this is the territory that we all live and work are the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish people, which includes the Lemhi Nation and Nooksack Indian tribe, who are the original stewards of this land since time immemorial. And we are now here to just support that stewardship as we move forward. How conservation districts were sort of founded. I think that this is fundamentally a lot of folks are like, what is a conservation district, and do I have one in my house? So in 1937, in response to the Dust Bowl, President Roosevelt recommended legislation allowing local landowners to form soil conservation districts. And now there are nearly 3,000 conservation districts in the United States. We are one of 45 in the state of Washington. So we were developed as the Whatcom County Soil Conservation District in 1946, but we are not part of Whatcom County government. And really our focus is to balance the ecological integrity with the economic viability of our natural resources and lands. So I have the great fortune opportunity to work at the intersection of people and place, providing an ecological understanding and deep connection to the land and its resources and economy, and promoting that responsible stewardship. So at Whatcom Conservation District, we envision a thriving community that protects and benefits from clean, plentiful water, productive working lands, and resilient natural habitats. We're looking at healthy water, healthy people, and healthy land. Our mission is to form partnerships with Whatcom County residents and entities to advance resiliency and ecological processes on working lands, residential landscapes, waterways, and open spaces for current and future generations. So now I'm going to dive into sort of the three pillars of the work that we primarily focus on. So conservation planning is the first pillar I'll talk about. We offer free and confidential planning to help meet your farm goals while protecting natural resources. Anybody can call or visit our office to meet one-on-one with a farm planner. We typically come out to a property, we walk the land with you, the farmer, and learn about your agricultural and land management goals. Then we are able to research and assemble information and resources to help you reach those goals. We often present resources that will help you move forward towards those goals, really with natural resource protection in mind. And we work with hundreds of, actually thousands of people in Whatcom County and have since 1946. And this is one of our keystone programs. education and outreach program, which I would have to say is my favorite. And we provide place-based learning opportunities for all ages. Typically throughout the year, we have 4 big events a year, including our native plant sale, our Whatcom Farm Expo, and our Run with the Chums 5K, which I'll talk a little bit about coming up later on. We also have a monthly e-news and our annual calendar. And if that sign up form could go in the chat, that'd be great. We have so much going on that I think our monthly e-news is the best way to stay in touch. That's all we'll send you. You're not signing up for anything else. And then our annual calendar is a really nice treat to come in December with beautiful photos and a lot of our conservation tips moving forward and through the year. We also have a monthly farm speaker series that has been a little bit on hiatus during COVID that we're bringing back in full force this year. And then our youth education programs. So that is sort of the education outreach program. And last but not least, our habitat and restoration program area, which is really what the focus of my talk is going to be today, with assisting in the protection and restoration of natural habitats for Pacific salmon. So we offer voluntary incentive-based programs that help empower landowners to restore those natural habitats for Pacific salmon, primarily by restoring streamside riparian buffers, as well as removing fish passage barriers. And so I'm going to talk in detail about those programs moving forward. But first, why? Why are these programs important? So Pacific Northwest salmon, there are charismatic fish species that represent the Pacific Northwest sort of on the world stage. We are so fortunate in Whatcom County to have all 5 species of Pacific salmon, and they have and still do play irreplaceable roles both culturally, economically, and ecologically as keystone species. They have fed those of us living here since the last ice age, and now they need our help. The populations of salmon are a fraction of what they once were, and restoring healthy freshwater habitat for salmon is the easiest and most cost-effective action that we can take to help sustain these fish that have long sustained us. So really the program areas that I'll be talking most about today are going to be around restoring those freshwater habitats for salmon. The land along rivers and streams is just as important as the water itself. So salmon need clear, cold, and clean water, 3 C's, along with some other C's that I'll talk about in a little bit. But this riparian zone is that transitional area between the terrestrial and aquatic systems. So any of the streamside areas, that's a naturally functioning riparian zone. It provides shade to keep the water cool, cover to provide safe habitat, and forage for insects and other organisms that are needed by salmon. So that is the primary function of that riparian zone for the salmon. Additionally, those riparian zones act as a buffer to the stream from adjacent land uses that can possibly negatively impact salmon. So over time, rivers and streams in Whatcom County have lost their functioning riparian zones as native trees and shrubs were removed. And so by restoring these areas, it's our means of stepping back from the stream and replanting the native species that once thrived there. So again, we'll be focusing in on this energy of the riparian buffer programming. So how does it impact? How do riparian buffers better the habitat for salmon? 1, improved water quality, reducing sediments and pollutants. 2, the habitat, a greater variety of plants, structure, and supports a larger variety of wildlife types. Temperatures are moderated. The fish need that cool water, so the shade provides that. And flood control, additional vegetation and undisturbed areas around riparian zones can act as sponges to soak off and divert sort of that, to soak up rainwater and also divert and slow down fast moving water. Additionally, the planting of a riparian zone improves that bank stability and reduces erosion. So next I'm going to show some visuals on how these programs that I'll be talking about in a little bit can, how they work, and to just visualize it a little bit better. So these photos are thanks to a partnership. We partner a lot with Nooksack Salmon Enhancement Association, or NC. I'll be talking about them and some of the other programmatic work that we do with NC a little bit later. But as we all know, many hands make light work, and the partnerships that we've forged here in Whatcom County are so vital. Nooksack Salmon Enhancement is one of those. So this is going to be a series of pictures to show you sort of what riparian restoration can look like in many of our lowland streams. This is Kendall Creek, and as you can see, it's totally choked with invasive reed canary grass, which blocks fish passage and obviously doesn't provide very good habitat. You're probably like, where is the stream? If you're asking that question, you're actually paying attention, because you can't really see where the stream is in this picture. But so where that green arrow is sort of marking this cottonwood or alder, maybe it's a birch, that's in the back. And it's that same tree will show up in the next series of pictures. So again, that was in 2002, so before it was planted. Then work started in 2003, removing the reed canary grass, which you can imagine is a big undertaking, placing large woody debris, installing spawning gravels, so improving the substrate, and then planting. So those tubes, the blue tubes or white tubes, there represent seedling, well, they are seedling protection tubes that surrounding young seedlings. So this is, you can see like, wow, okay, we've really modified this stream system. I can't believe that that's the same tree. Then fast forward 4 years, riparian restoration is a very long-term strategy, but after 4 years, you can already see that these trees are ensuring that Kendall Creek is providing salmon with that clean, cold, and clear water. We see improved function. We see obviously an active riparian zone. You can actually see the water flowing. So obviously that's no longer a fish passage barrier. And these are all these steps towards, creating for species recovery as well as healthy ecosystems. So now that you can see how quickly some of the work that we can do works, I'd love to dive into the programs specifically. So can't wait. Here we go. Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, or CREP, great program, bad acronym, but here we are. Here it is. It's been in Whatcom County for 22 years now. So we partner with the Department of Agriculture, NRCS, so FSA and NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Service, and the Farm Service Agency to provide the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, which is a voluntary program. All of ours are designed to help both landowners and the environment. CREP pays landowners to establish buffers of native trees and shrubs along fish-bearing streams and rivers. So landowners get paid to improve their land. The benefits of CREP are limitless. You're able to earn this passive income while taking an active role in salmon recovery and ecological stewardship. Plus, it's an incredible way to improve your landscape. So how it works is, our team of experts do everything in their power to plan and build strategies for landowners to establish these native buffers, native plant buffers on their streams and rivers. And the enrollment in CREP just keeps growing. So some of the numbers that we have since 2000, so far in Whatcom County, we have 487 projects. So that's individual projects throughout Whatcom County, which has planted 236 miles of buffer. And that's over 1.4 million trees and 3,000 acres of buffer planted, which is an incredible amount of trees, for one, and miles of stream that have been restored. So Through the CREP program, we reach a variety of landowners from, small rural landowners to large-scale farmers. And the next few slides are really sort of talking about CREP from the landowners themselves, which I think helps really personalize this program. So this is a local beef farmer out in the Acme area who says, yeah, they'll pay you for the land you put in conservation, along with the fences, culverts, and watering stations for better pasture management. All of those things are true for CREP. Then I take that money, I put it back into improving other parts of my land that is better ground for my animals anyway. So it's a picture of Daryl, and then there's a picture of his property that is sort of down below. We were able to establish a culvert for his animals to pass through. We were able to establish a off pasture watering facility. All of these things are part of the program. We offer these as barrier removals, right? So the barrier that a farmer might have to planting a riparian buffer is, well, that's how my animals get water. Okay, let's work with that. Or that's how my animals transfer from one pasture to another. I can't plant it. Okay, well, we'll put a culvert there. So these are all the means of which the CD is able to work with landowners so that they may better steward their land and water. Here's another example. This is a family out in the Terrell Creek area who they're very sweet. We did not know how degraded our backyard wetland had been because of all the invasive plants. Knowing all of that, and at our age, we couldn't have done it ourselves. So this is sort of a different angle. CREP was a package deal. They did everything for us. So many folks come to us wanting to make a difference, but obviously do not have the ability to be able to pull that off themselves. So we were able to work with folks like Harry and Mary Purdue in the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, or CREP, and they improved the functionality of about almost 4 acres of stream banks and wetlands on their property. And they didn't have to do it themselves, right? So that is another barrier that folks have. So a new program that I'm excited to share today that I hope will have more and more traction as the years come is our new Salmon Recovery Riparian program that can fund riparian buffer installation in a variety of situations with funding from the Washington State Conservation Commission. So while CREP is a federal program with local partners, this is a state program that with the Whatcom Conservation District as the local entity being able to do that project management. So we've been able to launch this program on a few properties this year and are hoping to build momentum with a streamlined program next year. This program has more flexible buffer design. It really meets the landowner's needs, and it aims to increase the opportunities for that engagement and stewardship and the recovery of salmon. The program is simpler. It has a more streamlined landowner agreement, more flexible design, and these this program moving into 2024 and beyond, we hope to have even more incentives built into it. So this is a program that we're developing currently, and which has a lot of the same functionality as CREP, but with ease of access for more types of landowners. So more to come on that, and we hope to share some success stories from that in the coming years. So this is a partnership program, another buffer establishment program that NRCS is putting on, the Natural Resource Conservation Service. And this program, they can provide assistance through their Environmental Quality Incentive Program, or EQIP, for riparian buffers. The objective is the same as CREP and the same as our salmon recovery program, is to reduce sediment, lower surface water temperatures, and the program can help financially compensate producers who voluntarily help to achieve these goals. So it is although that's really intended for an active agricultural lands. Private lands have been impacted by past farming activities, may also be eligible. And the programs compensate landowners for land taken out of production to be planted with native trees and shrubs. So this rolled out earlier this year, yeah, I guess in January. And we have local NRCS field staff here in Whatcom County that are excited to take applications. And if you want to learn more about that, I think the link is in the chat. Okay, so now getting away from sort of the only planting riparian buffers part of this piece is we also have floodgates. So this is before and afters on about 4 different sites. So can I go backwards? There you go. It's just so I can do it again. So taking what was an inactive and not fish-friendly floodgate and replacing those with fish-friendly floodgates, which we've done, I think, 4, maybe 5 of these already in Whatcom County. Then just showing some large woody debris that was put in, and then a riparian area planted here. These are just other examples of projects that we've been able to fund. There's another reed canary grass choked area, stream establishment, and then riparian buffer establishment. And finally, we've got an agricultural field planted with a hedgerow, and now a functioning riparian corridor. So these are all funded through different types of partnerships, but examples of other habitat enhancement programs that we are able to provide. We're working with the flood control zone, as well as federal partners installing, large woody debris, as well as Nooksack Salmon Enhancement Association for some of those pieces. But now I want to kind of dive into another challenge that our salmon have here in Whatcom County. Culverts placed on streams for driveways, farm roads, forest roads, even major roads may also function as barriers to fish passage. So salmon, steelhead, and other anadromous fish, they need that quality upstream habitat to spawn and grow. Many of these culverts have been degraded over time. So how this works, so this is an example of an excessive water drop that the culvert has provided that's kind of a barrier for this fish to spawn. It also, the velocity of water, it gets really channelized in a culvert. It makes it really challenging for fish to move upstream. And then it can also have extremely shallow water in culvert that make it really hard to move up. So there's some of the challenges, and here are some of the solutions. So the Conservation District, along with partner program participants, have been able to fund fish passage barrier improvements on private land. So here's a great sort of, before and after, turning a degraded culvert into a lovely bridge that still enables a landowner to get from farm fields back and forth while restoring that habitat function. Here's another example of a before of a fish passage barrier, obviously a sort of a check dam with large drop that salmon are unable to get through, and replaced with another functioning bridge, allowing that free-flowing stream, and then there's buffer establishment on either side of the stream as well. So we've done over 45 barrier removal projects, opened up 44 miles of stream in Whatcom County, and we work really closely with Whatcom County in identifying culvert replacement projects to complement the work that they're doing on their existing roads. So you might have seen large culvert projects going on. Well, you might wonder, is something happening on the private land that's adjacent to those? So we work with those private landowners in order to improve those culverts. So if you're thinking of anybody who has a culvert on their property, send them our way. Okay. Oh, man, we have a lot of programs that we work with. So here's here's another one. You may have heard of it. Our annual native plant sale. This is our 30th year of providing conservation grade native plants to residents of Whatcom County. The goal of this native plant sale is to promote stewardship and conservation of natural resources, right? These are plants sold, they're conservation grade. Many of them are bare root. They're graded on their just ability to survive, not their necessarily their ornamental value, although as you can see, they're mostly gorgeous. Seedlings are not large. They're generally between like 10 inches to 36 inches tall. So when you are able to purchase or these plants, you can just put them in the back of your trunk. It makes conservation and planting pollinator habitat and improving wildlife habitat of all sorts for birds, for salmon, really easy and very approachable. These are low cost, high quality plants. It's a great opportunity to get them in the ground before the growing season because it's coming up in March. So promotion for our 30th annual native plant sale and celebration. We've been not in person for the last few years, so it feels really good to be back in person. So we have online pre-orders that are going on now through March 3rd at our online shop. At the $100 minimum will apply to those pre-orders, and then folks can pick those up on Friday, March 17th at Nooksack Salmon Enhancement Association. Or you can come to the in-person sale and celebration, which I highly recommend, because then you actually get to talk to real people, touch the plants, see the people, talk to experts. And that will be held on Saturday, March 18th from 9 to 2 at our new location at Pioneer Park in Ferndale. We've been running it out of the community college for years prior to COVID, and now we're excited to have moved it to Pioneer Park. And then we'll have species available there once they've run out or on our online page. So if you're going there and saying, oh no, there's none of that species left, we'll have them at the online sale along with other vendors and educational exhibitors as well. Another program that we offer that supports native landscaping and the installation of native plants is a neighborhood native landscaping project. We piloted 2 of these last year, one in Birch Bay and one in Lake Whatcom. We're doing that again this year in partnership with Whatcom County. There are programs, there's availability in clustered neighborhoods. So the idea is that it's a free program to invite homeowners to convert existing lawns and landscapes into a native plant landscape for pollinators, for water quality, for all of the benefits of native plants. Maintenance agreements are in place. We do the plans and the permits. We get the mulch and the plants are provided. There's no reimbursement process. Then we do a planting party in sort of neighborhood clusters. And it's a way to build community and to improve all of the things that we've already been talking about. So this isn't necessarily streamside, but it is ways for folks who don't have a salmon bearing stream on their backyard to also improve habitat in other ways. And another program we offer is our Wildfire Preparedness program. So this can be sort of seen as tangential to the salmon recovery process, but I do think it's really important to talk about as wildfire risks are increasing in Western Washington, and we want to maintain the riparian corridors that we have. So we are having an increase in air temperature, an increase in summer rains, earlier snow melt, as well as the residential encroachment into forested areas. And that's really sort of that wildland urban interface is where we focus a lot of our energy and attention. So we offer comprehensive wildfire preparedness education programs to everyone across Whatcom County, but we also do one-on-one risk assessments for landowners that are interested in doing taking action on their home property, as well as we work with communities to enroll them in a program called Firewise, or working with communities that want to reduce their fire risk in that area. We'll do a community presentation, and then we can hopefully get an event organized in that area. All right. Also, maybe seeming tangential, but I hope that some of you have seen our Whatcom Explorer mobile watershed over the past few years. This is our hands-on educational tool that allows participants to connect with the local watershed. It has that the lid, the picture sort of on the right, is Mount Baker to the bay in a interactive topographic model, and then on your left is an interactive sand table that actually has free flowing water. So this is a really place-based interactive model that focuses on all these watershed processes. Right now, we serve 4th grade classes in 4 school districts in Whatcom County, as well as middle school at Nooksack Valley. And it also frequents events and workshops all over the county. So if this is something that you think, you're like, oh, I have a teacher friend, or oh, I have a neighbor who has a homeschool cooperative, these are ways to intersect with the Whatcom Conservation District. We would love to have this tool brought into more areas of our community. So it's another opportunity for salmon education. And then for 10 years, we've been running our annual Run with the Chums. It's been sort of the highlight of Whatcom Water Week, which is put on by Wynn, and Cheryl's big part of that. So people all over the Whatcom County come to an area around Birch Bay where we celebrate healthy habitat, healthy people, and healthy water in an educational fun run. This coming year, it's going to be on Saturday, September 9th. So mark your calendars. We don't have registration open yet. It is, again, a free event, very family friendly. There is the 5K loop as well as an obstacle course for the kids called the Smolt Sprint. So look for that upcoming. If you sign up for our e-news, then you'll be able to get all these updates. And I just want to do a shout out and some recognition to one of our primary partners in all of this work, which is Nooksack Salmon Enhancement Association, a local 501c3 that strives to recover salmon by engaging our community in restoration and education and stewardship. And they do a lot to plant riparian areas with volunteers and their own work crews. All their participation is voluntary, and their buffer design is also really flexible. So this is another way that people can engage in salmon habitat improvement on their property. So I'm going to share, hopefully in the chat, this is their Stream Stewards program. So most of their spring work parties have been scheduled, and they're posted at the Stream Stewards website. And it's a way, if you don't have a property that you can plant native plants, if you don't live on a salmon bearing stream, this is a way for you to give back to your community. And we are we love to support this organization, and we are partnering actually coming up on Saturday. So out in Terrell Creek, we have from 9 to noon on Jackson Road, there'll be tree planting work party, and with NC and Whatcom County. So sign up, show up, and go to that Stream Stewards page to make sure that that happens. And I think last but not least, our final big event that we have coming up, we have our Whatcom Farm Expo. I think this is the 7th annual that we've been doing this event. Saturday, March 4th, mark your calendars, at the Northwest Washington Fairgrounds in the WECU Expo building. It'll start at 9 o'clock. And then presentations starting at 9:30, but we'll have over 40 exhibitors there to chat with throughout the entire day. Agricultural experts, we have, solar experts, we have the noxious weed board, there's local farmers sharing everything that they know. There's tractors there. We're going to have llamas there. We have a variety of different types of resources available. And then this is the presentation list. So pretty much every half hour, we have a really nice keynote in the middle from some local women in farming that have overcome a lot to create some very valuable farm businesses that are going to share with us what they've found, and a lot of really other very diverse topics at this year's expo. So I hope to see you there. And yeah, and that's it. That's my final slide. It was a lot of talking. I really hope to hear from you all if you have any questions.
Yay! That was wonderful, Aneka. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a whirlwind tour.
I know, it was a lot. It was a lot happening.
Go ahead, Cedar. I see you have a question.
I'm going to stop sharing. There we go.
Can you unmute yourself? You're still on.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So I just had a question. If I knew somebody, maybe a neighbor, somebody like that might be interested in having riparian restoration on their land, what's kind of the first steps that I could tell them to take?
Awesome. Great question, Cedar.
Thank you.
So we have a form on our website, a site visit request form that you can reach out to us right away. Wow. Good segue. And there's the link. So get a hold of us. It's a non-obligatory. We come out, we can assess your property. We can just talk to you over the phone about what you might be interested in. And in that form, you're able to sign up for our e-news, for wildfire resources, for farm planning, or for habitat restoration, like you mentioned. So this is a great first step, but also just going to our website and learning more. But as I think hopefully it came out in this presentation, is that everything is really adaptable to the landowner, and there's not one program that's one size fits all. Every single landowner we've met has specificity goals for their property, certain soil types, etc. And so we're able to really personalize for different opportunities.
I had a quick question for you. So I think I heard you say that the CREP program does maintenance, provides maintenance as follow-up after the plantings are done. How long do you provide maintenance?
Sure, it's a 5 years of maintenance to ensure those seedlings are successful.
Wow. That seems like a great deal.
Well, I mean, and it's ensuring that those public dollars are going to be towards a productive riparian buffer. I think it's pretty important to have the maintenance as part of it. Yeah, we're really pushing for that in this new salmon recovery funding as well, because planting plants in the ground is, as I can attest, if you don't actually take care of them, they will die. And I think we can all sort of feel that.
Anybody who has a question, feel free to either put it in the chat and I'll be happy to read it off for Aneka, or you can do what Cedar did and raise your hand. Unmute yourself.
Or you can just send me an email or give me a call. Those are the other options.
I did have another question about the neighborhood native landscaping program.
Sure.
So is there sort of a minimum number of landowners who you need to have willing to get involved in this in order to launch, in order to do that planting, that program?
Sure. So right now we're only offering it in 2 watersheds, Lake Whatcom and Birch Bay. with hopes of expanding. And what it looks like right now is we're trying to get in each of those watersheds, we want to have planted around 20,000 square feet in each. And so that could be 5 landowners that are able to put in a significant amount of native landscaping, or what is kind of ending up looking like as a couple clusters within a watershed. So if I have 3 people interested, I'll reach out to them and say, hey, do you have any other neighbors that you think would be game for this program? And so using that network, that social network, to really build the capacity for that program. And like I said, in hopes of building it out, but we really rely heavily on the local Washington Conservation Corps to be doing a lot of the, they help with the mulching, and they're helping with the plants and putting all those in. So we've got sort of the WCC crew, and then we're doing the planting plans and all of the outreach, and then doing the program or the project management in getting all of that settled. So really, like, we have a lot more interest than we have availability, because the idea of having folks really clustered together is just for efficiency, right? Bring in a truckload of mulch, you're able to distribute that for, neighbors within a half mile a lot easier than, or, on a block. And then people can come together for a planting party and whatnot too. So it's cost effective and it's community building. That's
great. Yeah, I'll have to look into more of it. I teach some sustainable landscaping courses, and I have some coming up. And so I'd love to. I'll look online with the link and let folks know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That can be an option.
It's a new one, but I think it has high potential. It's kind of building off of our homeowner incentive program, which is the Lake Whatcom watershed, which is still active in the city portion of Lake Whatcom. And so that reimburses landowners for putting in best management practices and stormwater LID for water quality improvements. So that could be native landscaping, it could be large scale sort of construction projects to put in media filter drains, or other sort of larger LID. But this is sort of riffing off of that, saying, well, maybe if we can actually do the project management, it will build more community, as well as just ensure that the projects get in the ground. So it's an adaptation to the homeowner incentive program.
And then I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of the fact that I don't see any questions in the chat and ask you a follow-up.
Sure.
So do folks have flexibility in terms of like the planting palette? I mean, obviously it's native plants, but within that, like, can folks choose like only shrubs and lower, or do they need to incorporate some trees? Is there
great. So there will be a sort of a limited selection, but it is site specific planting plans are going to be developed, and for each project there is a maintenance agreement that it's associated with it. So we look at your soils, we look at your shade, and build sort of a planting palette that you can then select from. If you're like, oof, I really don't like goat's beard, and I would really like to have some whatever Oregon grape here. There is that opportunity, but we're going to have like a limited selection to choose from, if that makes sense.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, do we have any last questions, either in person or via the chat? We'll give it a breath, so it could take a moment for someone to type something. All right. Well, thank you so much, Aneka. That was wonderful. Great presentation. Oh, I have one new message. Here we go.
Oh, the e-news sign up.
The e-news sign up. Yes. Okay.
Get on it.
Yep. And I'm going to incorporate a link to our follow-up survey. We always like to get a little bit of information, some feedback from folks about whether you learned something, whether you think this is information that you can apply to your work and or life. And also, we're always looking for people input on, what are topics that people are interested in hearing about. So the Whatcom Watersheds Information Network is really happy to host these speaker events, and we really appreciate input and insights into what folks are interested in. So you just follow the link there. I'm going to put into the chat to do that. It's short, just a few minutes of your time. And yeah, I see Ciara Atkinson wrote, "Thank you so much for providing this free information / presentation." And I would echo that as well. Thank you. This was excellent.
And do you want to talk about the one that's in a couple weeks too?
The which one?
Oh, don't you have another speaker series coming up?
Oh, yes, I should.
Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, so we are hosting another event on Tuesday, February 28th in the evening, 5:30 to 7:30. It is on the floodplain integrated planning process, and we'll host Paula Harris with Whatcom County River and Flood. She's going to briefly describe the planning process, and then we're going to have 3 consultants who have been working with the county to help understand several components that will go into trying to create an integrated plan that will reduce future flood risk and also help to preserve salmon habitat, enhance salmon habitat, and also help to create greater resiliency for floodplain agriculture and floodplain communities. So that is on our speaker series. If you go to the whatcomwin.org speaker series, I'll type this in here. For the speaker series, you'll find information and a registration link there. And registration is required for that event. And then I also wanted to mention, circling back, we hosted Jenny Coe last year, who gave a really good presentation on wildfire preparedness, and that we recorded that presentation, and that is also on our whatcomwin.org/speaker series page. So if folks would like to look at that, lots of great information. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.